There's been a lot of negativity surrounding the release of the newest Resident Evil game. Is it justified? As a longtime fan of the series, I wanted to look for myself and judge the game as I see it. Let's take a look at the jack of all trades but master of none, Resident Evil 6, Call of the Heavy Solid Metal Gears of War to duty in the rain. Graphically, this game isn't a tour de force. It's exactly what we expect from the current generation. There has been very little attempt to create something unique, and it suffers from a very dull and dark palette overall. Post-apocalyptic environments don't have to be devoid of color, especially when it was once a vibrant city. The game is acceptable graphically, but it lacks originality much like the rest of this game. The sound is neither eerie nor will it set an atmospheric tone. The music resembles the boring incidental music you find in every action movie. It's completely forgettable and lacking any originality. It serves its purpose, but it doesn't create the feeling of tension that it should. The sound effects try to be scary, but when things pop out from everywhere you hear a sound, it hurts the overall sound direction. To appropriately create a scary atmosphere, sounds that come should rarely result in an enemy attack. Creating that aura that something may pop out is far more scary than cannon fodder popping from everywhere. Running into things. Your character has 3 speeds: standing motionless, too slow, and run into everything. The lack of sensitivity of the thumbstick to control the character's speed leaves me with questions. When games have had proper speed controls with analog sticks since the PS1 N64 era, why doesn't this game have them? And for that matter, why do so many games of this generation have this problem? That is why we got rid of D-pads 20 years ago for 3D gaming, so we could have fluid control of direction and speed. Other than that issue, the game's other controls are responsive. It's another unimpressive pass for me. This game suffers from too much ammo syndrome. No longer do we need to fear running out of ammo, and you can simply run in like John Rambo with your balls hanging out and lay waste to hordes of the cliché. If you run out of ammo in this game, you cannot aim. Hell, you don't even have to run for your life if you happen to run out of weapons. You have fists and legs that can destroy and decapitate virtually all of the zombies. Apparently, your characters have been popping tons of steroids since the past games, since they're all Metal Gear class Japanese superhumans. Run down narrow hallway, bump into everything on the way. Run down another narrow hallway, bounce off random objects in there. Then you get to run down another narrow hallway. Oh, you want to explore or solve convoluted puzzles like in the original series? Nope, not here. This is how the improved Resident Evil plays, like every other vapid third or first person shooter game. Center screen, push button. Center screen, push button. Center screen, push button. This is really Game of the Year material here? Or better yet, wiggle your thumbstick. Press the button. Wiggle your thumbstick. Press a button. What a highly interactive movie we have here. How about this is Game of the Year 1983 with its only competition, Dragon's Lair? Do you see why I call this a generic, completely unoriginal, and ultimately a marginal game? Take the most generic portions of Call of Duty, Gears of War, Metal Gear Solid, Heavy Rain, then mash them together into a single game of insipidness. This game's only strong point is for those that are looking to continue the story of Resident Evil, a series of such staggering creativity and superlative writing featuring fantastic lines such as,
"That was too close. You were almost a Jill sandwich."
Saying you want to play Resident Evil 6 to continue the story is like saying you want to watch the Resident Evil movies simply to see Mia Jovovich's itty-bitty titties in Snatch. While that is a perfectly valid reason to watch those train wrecks, you can see your nude anywhere without slogging through 2 hours of crap, and you can see Resident Evil's convoluted story if you have simply played any of the previous games. It's the same crap virus, and they just change the letter every game to keep it fresh. The story has always been a poorly written mess. If this is your justification to purchase this game, you need to question your own intelligence. At the end of the day, this uninspired game gets my retrospective rating of a 6 out of 10. It's a slightly above average game, and there are a lot of hours of gameplay for people that enjoy repeating the same gameplay elements over and over again with different character models and online play. However, in the long run, this game will not age well. Once the multiplayer arena clears out, there is very little reason to play this game more than once. You will not be scared, it will not mess with your head, and it is a linear A to B action game. That is bargain bin material, folks. Capcom is all but finished destroying the pillar of trust with the fans that helped them get them where they are today. Gamers such as myself, who have been purchasing and playing Capcom products since the 1980s, we have once again been crapped on for the fly-by-night, Call of Duty loving, mindless fanboys who will abandon Capcom as fast as they jump on that bandwagon once the new thing comes on the market. I find it quite sad that they continue to sell incomplete games with DLC, on the disc no less, special editions that only the dumbest of fanboys would ever buy. They continue to hold Mega Man over our heads, and they made a 2D fighting game that moves at the speed of old people fucking and requires none of the timing, none of the accuracy, and it doesn't even compete with King of Fighters 13. And above all else, they don't make a product in the gaming genre they created. Resident Evil 6 is another example that Capcom doesn't care about the old fans. If you want a proper Resident Evil, play Revelations on the 3DS. That is truly the spiritual successor of the originals. You know what? Fuck that! Don't buy that game either. Get yourself Amnesia: The Dark Descent, a decent set of surround sound headphones, start playing at midnight and turn out all the lights. For those of weak constitutions, I suggest some Depends. I'm filled with malice. Gaming is fucking ours.